Hello, how's it going? I'm back here with another episode of Dean Attempts to Learn. I'm going to try some Revocation today. Taking a bit of a break from the Necrophagist. Taking a bit of a break from the really shreddy stuff, you know? Just taking it easy. That's what I'm doing. So I'm going to warm up real quick. And then we can get started. So how have you been? What's new with you? Please let me know in the comments. Anything new? Anything interesting that I should be checking out? Anything new? Any new music? Any new guitar playing? In the middle of writing an album right now with the band that I play in, Archspire. So we'll be on tour in November and December across Europe. So right now we're taking time just to write some new music, which is going pretty well. Probably been at it for 2 months or so, and we have kind of like the skeleton of 4 songs, some in more completed versions than others, but it's going pretty well. So yeah, just working 4 to 5 times a week together on that, and then lots of us are spending the weekends as well, just trying to go through the stuff that we've written and see if there's anything in there that we can improve. So. All right. Well, I'm going to try just learning mostly just like riffs today. I'm going to see how far I can get in this song. This is a really cool song by a band, buddies of mine. They're a band called Revocation. They'll actually be in Vancouver. I'm going to go hang out with them in a few days. But by the time this video is out, yeah, might actually be the day that they come through. I'll probably post it. So I'll be here on Monday, the 23rd. Yeah, that tracks. Monday the 23rd. All right. Well, I'm going to try and go through this. This is a song called Madness Opus. I've actually taken their tab. So this is actually the official Sheet Happens tab. You can check out the link in the description below. So this is the official tab that they put together. I'm not sure who did the transcribing, but whether or not it was the band or Sheet Happens, it's, the company Sheet Happens is great. Who knows the music better than the people that wrote it, but I would say the people that know the music second best is probably Sheet Happens. Their transcriber or transcribers, I don't know, they do an insanely good job, so it's sure to be very accurate. Yeah, so the purchase link for that is in the description below. Please check it out. I'm going to throw on a metronome here. Actually, where is the metronome? I just can't hear it. Oh, it's just quiet. It's just a quiet metronome. That's okay. I'll go through the riff, see if we can play it. Oh, that's harder than I was expecting. I came in here all like super confident, and now it's a tough riff. Ugh. Wow, that riff is way harder than I was anticipating. All right. Getting the mix of this is a little bit tough. I'm hearing my guitar louder than I'm hearing the actual tab. I have a bit of a wonky setup because my computer has recently, the sound or the video card has recently died or something. So I'm using my MacBook, and so the in and out, the I/O of this whole setup is a bit more complex, or rather, it's a bit more inefficient, I guess, than usual. All right, sweet. That's good. That's sweet. I feel like I pretty much got that going on. What's cool is that you're going from those two chords. The relationship between those two chords is kind of like a tritone. At least the relationship between the root notes of both of those intervals. Both power chords, so they're just 5 chords. So it sounds cool. A very dissonant. I guess the very definition of dissonance is that relationship. Wow, I got really excited about that. The very definition. But anyway, you're playing fifth chords on top of there, or fifth intervals on top of there, which is pretty cool. What could you think of that? I guess that would be the root. G sharp harmonic minor? I guess? No. We have a flat 5 in there, so... G sharp Hungarian minor? I don't know. Don't ask me questions like this. You didn't ask me anything. Well, anyway, at the very least, it's a very dark sound. Okay, well, if you're learning this along with me, this one shouldn't be too hard. You're really just taking a different technique with the right hand and thinking about only the root notes with the left hand. As I... it's pretty much that easy. All right, I'll just butcher it here. Not too bad. I like it. Yeah, all the same rhythms as the opening riff. Now, this was the riff that I was really excited about learning. For anybody who's learning this kind of stuff at home as well, you got to think about the numbers of pick strokes versus like what kind of technique you're going to be using. And when you know the number of pick strokes, so whether you're starting on an off or starting on a downstroke and ending on a downstroke, or starting on a downstroke, ending on an upstroke, or any permutation of any of that stuff, if we're just doing one string, it's not too hard to figure out what type of picking. It's going to be all alternate picking for the most part, unless you're doing different note rates and you want the sound of double picked in a row, and it's actually possible at whatever tempo you're playing. But in this case, I would say you could consider it tremolo picking. I'm thinking about it in terms of which note I start with as a down or an upstroke, and which note I end with for each one. I'm also thinking in groups of 2 generally. So because I have a down and an up, I'll think about these like if it's, let's see. You can hear a really big accent at the end of that run. That's sort of my my boundary line. Like I'm using that first note and the last note as a as sort of like a goalpost, and then everything else in the middle kind of fills in for the most part, as long as you're thinking about it in groups of like even notes. So if you think about it if you go to Troy Grady's YouTube channel, you could probably check out some stuff talking about chunking, and chunking would be taking a group of actions and putting them together as one action, like the idea of walking. So walking would be a way where we take a million different actions, we piece it all together into a thing that we call walking. So we don't think, okay, left foot, right, okay, then plant that down on the ground and then put the other one in front. We just think we're going to walk from here to here. So when I'm thinking about this run, I'm thinking about a fast run of notes. It's a group of 9 notes. I'm starting with a downstroke, ending with a downstroke. That's kind of how I'm using the barrier, so the downs on each side of it. That already tells me that it's going to be odd, because if I start with a down and I end with a down, I know it has to be an odd group of notes. I only have a down and an up function in order to play it, really. So so when I'm thinking about that, everything else in the middle kind of falls into place. But you can start subdividing it into groups of 4 then as well. So you could think about every downstroke in the riff, or you can think about every second downstroke in the riff or whatever to sort of lock yourself into place. It all depends on what you want to do for accenting, what you're comfortable with. You can hear there's 3 accents. The first one, the 5th note, and the 9th note. So I could make those accents really audible, or I can make them not very audible. So it really is up to you what you kind of like the sound of and how comfortable you are with locking in that whole kind of stream of notes, and how tight you are, and honestly how tight you want to be. I mean, for the most part, how much of this is really going to make too much of a difference when you're playing super loud music at a venue that has concrete walls or whatever. It's all about your own comfort level on how tight you really want to be and how in depth you want to go into the tightness of your picking. So I like this riff a lot. The reason why I like it is because it takes your expectation of what it should be, and it just sort of twists it a little bit. If I was to simplify this riff, okay, there's a pretty bad sounding riff. The anticipation is that we're going to go back to that 2nd fret on the B string, right? So we're starting there. We're playing 9 notes, and then we wait the appropriate amount of rest. We add the appropriate amount of length rest at the end of the bar to get to the next part, and we go up to the next chord, right? So, and then we play the same 9 notes there. When you play that other group of 9 notes, so the 6th fret, sort of your ear kind of wants to go back to the first one. So that would be a boring, very expected way to play a riff kind of like this, that same kind of style. So what they're taking is already I don't know where I am really. We do a bit of a wavering in and out of the... I don't know what key he's really thinking about being in here. The C sharp on the low B string sounds like the root, but I haven't gotten too far into the riff yet, so I don't quite know. But it adds a bit of spaciness, weirdness to go. All of a sudden, I don't know really where I am. Cool. Sweet. For anybody at home playing this, you might notice that the pauses sound pretty clean. One of the things that lends to that is how tight the noise gate I have on this amp that I'm using. Another thing too is I'm using my left hand here to really mute the strings. all my left hand fingers generally lay across the strings, not pushing down, but just enough to sort of get the most amount of skin onto the... Ew, that sounded gross. The most amount of skin? Ew. Okay, so forget that thing, but the most amount of fingers, that also sounds gross. Okay, well, I'm going to lay across all the left-hand fingers that I possibly can onto the strings to get the string muted as quickly and as cleanly as possible. So you can watch my left hand. Oops. One big thing is my pinky. A big thing about playing a string is that if you want to mute it quickly, if you try to mute it very close to the fret that you're playing, it's not going to dampen the string very quickly. The string needs to be dampened far away from the point of that you're fretting it down. But if you go too far, let's say if you go far enough to hit like a loud harmonic, then all of a sudden you're going to make it sound pretty shitty. We're harmonically there. Yeah, okay, well, it's a little bit tough to do it there, but oftentimes when you do open notes, see how I'm using one finger to sort of mute it? That's a bad idea. I'm going pretty far in to sort of give my my string the ultimate command to stop vibrating, right? If I start it here, it really doesn't hit the string in a strong enough area to really stop the string from vibrating too much. So the further I go in, the better, unless we stop at a natural harmonic. Then we don't get that precise kind of stop that we want. So my biggest suggestion is to use the most amount of fingers and space them out and keep them pretty far away from the note that you're playing. If you put on 2 or 3 fingers to mute a note or mute a string, the chances of you getting a harmonic are pretty much 0. You're pretty much not going to get a harmonic laying multiple fingers across a string. It's just not going to happen. At least nothing that you're ever going to notice. So so that's one thing. And placing them pretty far away from the fret that you're playing is another thing as well. So you see how tight that is as well. I'm actually adding that last accent is sort of lending to the strength of that last note, which then I can, well, I just noticed my ear is like popping out of that headphone. It looked really weird. That last note is really strengthened and it sounds like very sharp. So the quicker I mute it after that last note, the better and the tighter it's going to sound. That paired with a really tight noise gate, or at least a tight enough noise gate to kind of make that happen, as well as some right hand muting, you got yourself a sick little pause. You know what I'm saying? So let's learn the rest of the riff. Ah, cool. Oops. See, there you go. There you go. You got that shitty natural harmonic. All right, let's take a listen to it. Cool. Okay, I'm getting there. I'm getting there with that riff. Let's try it a few more times. Whoops. Oh, whoa, I'm blowing it. All right. All right, changes there. Let's go back and just get that riff. All right, not too bad. As I blow it. All right. That middle part sounded strange. What the fuck is going on? Okay. I don't even remember that in the song. All right. So the next riff, it's pretty easy, just sounds like this. Cool. Next. No, I'm just kidding. I'll do the triplet thing. Prepare for it to sound really terrible for a second. This is kind of weird. Okay, not too bad. Well, again. There's a lot of swinging back and forth with your left hand. That one's kind of cool. It sounds very obscure, which is a word that we like to use a lot when we're writing stuff. That riff is cool. I think it's pretty palm muted as well when he's playing a bit. I could be wrong there. It sounds cool. Not too bad. It's got some, like I said, some left hand kind of whipping back and forth. Sounds a bit out of tune when I'm playing it. Whatever. Okay, I messed that one up right away. Oh, that sounds cool. All right, if you're trying to learn this at home, of course you're doing it. Well, maybe you're not at home. I don't know. Maybe you're just like watching this in your car or something. That would be weird. However you want to watch this, it's up to you. Challenge to be a challenge to be a challenge to yourself. Try to keep every note that you possibly can ringing out at the same time. So. That would be a challenge I propose to you, trying to get it to sound as smooth as possible. Riff A reprise. Oh, we got a little tail. I mean, I don't have a little tail. There is a little... That would be weird if I had a little tail, though. Little ending there. Oops. Alright, I feel like we're pretty close to getting all the riffs in the song. Tremolo riff. I'm probably not going to try and tackle the solo today, because I'm not an idiot. That would take me a very long time. Ooh, haunting clean guitar. Oh, that one's cool. Alright, let's go to clean real quick. Let's see what it sounds like. I already know what it sounds like, but see what it sounds like when I play it. So we're playing something in B. It says it's so it's got little chord names above there. It says it's a B minor add 9 into a C minor add 9. Oh, cool. E flat, add sharp 11 over G. Let me know in the comments if you know what an E flat add sharp 11 over G is. Just saying yes doesn't count. You really have to let me know what your idea of that chord is. I know what it is, but I'm not going to go around being like, I know what an E flat add sharp 11 over G is to a bunch of people that I don't know. Although I just did that, I guess, by telling you, because I don't know you. Or maybe I do. If I know you, how's it going? Good to see you. If I don't, then pretend like I don't know what that chord is. Like I know what all the everything in it means. Okay, I'll see if I can do the chord analysis real quick. B minor add 9, so that could be your natural minor. C minor add 9, so again it could be well, those aren't. Are those diatonic in the major scale? Two minor chords, one semitone apart, are not diatonic in the minor scale, but they might be in harmonic minor. Let's see if harmonic minor. Let me know if I'm way off base with let me know A if you have any questions about what I'm going to talk about right now, or B if I'm totally off my game and I have no idea what I'm talking about. Okay, so in harmonic minor, let's start with that one. That'll be the easiest one. Harmonic minor, you can think about it like Dorian sharp 7. Nope, Aeolian sharp 7. Is that the one? I think that's the one. Yeah, so you can think about it like an Aeolian sharp 7. So Aeolian sharp 7 is the 1, so that's minor. Locrian sharp 6, so that's not minor. Ionian augmented, Ionian sharp 5, so there's no minor chord there. Dorian sharp 4, That one would have a regular 9. Dorian sharp 4, Phrygian dominant. That's major, so that's not going to be there. Lydian sharp 9. That one has a... But it's not surrounded by a minor chord. It doesn't have a minor chord on either side of it. So maybe... Okay, so what I'm looking for right now is what scale has 2 minor chords directly next to each other, separated by 1 semitone. So melodic minor, you can think about like Dorian sharp 7. So Dorian sharp 7 has a minor chord with a 9 in it. That's great. Phrygian sharp 6, which is... Or regardless, that's not a semitone apart. What scale has 2 minor chords directly next to each other? Let's keep going, see if we can discover anything else by using the next chord. We have a G minor. He plays it here. Whoops. And then an E. It does sound like C is the tonic to me. So it does sound like C is the root. I think. Let's simplify the chords a little bit. Take out the add 9. Let's just do... Oh, these are... let's see. It's a 1 with a 3 with just a 9. Okay, so we actually don't even know if there's 5s. There's actually only 2 chords here that have a 5. No. Yeah, actually, the first 2 chords don't even have a 5. So one of them could be a diminished triad, or it could be like, you could assume that it's potentially diminished. So because we don't have a 5 to indicate if it has a perfect fifth or a flat fifth. So let's consider. Let's go back to harmonic minor. Locrian sharp 6. Aeolian sharp 7. No. Yeah, I'm not sure what that is. It does sound like C. It's sort of like that last chord at least brings my ear to C. No, not C. Sorry. G. Which is the next chord. Okay, great. Okay, so that's an indicator. Sorry, I messed up my pitch. Yeah, it does resolve nicely to G minor. So let's consider if we're in G minor. Consider that the 4th chord is Aeolian, Locrian, Ionian, Dorian. That's diatonic. C minor, add 9, and G minor in the same key. B minor, add 9. That's not in the same key, because there's no major 3. G minor there. I don't know. Let me know in the comments what you think this is. Maybe I'll keep going with the analysis of it. But whatever it is, it sounds really cool. I always like to relate it to whatever scale or exotic scale that I know or whatever, if it's not in the major scale. Oh, it's a cool variation of it. This is all not too hard. It's just really well written. It's a very cool part. After that, we go into a solo. Let me learn the first couple of notes of it. Whoa, what? Brutal. Well, all this is in Phrygian dominant, which leads me to believe that probably the thing I was looking at just now is just in harmonic minor. I didn't notice really where it was, but where in harmonic minor it was, but I'll have to keep working on it a little bit. Besides the solo, we just have a bridge. If you're familiar with odd time signatures, then great. Happy for you. Very happy for you. If you're not, this is something in 5/4. So 5/4 would be, instead of 4 notes, 4 even spaced quarter notes per bar. This bar lasts 5 evenly spaced quarter notes per bar. So instead of counting to 4, just count to 5. It sounds really easy when I say it like that, but really what you have to do is learn how to feel the music, because oftentimes people get caught up in the counting, and they start kind of forcing in numbers where you shouldn't necessarily force them in. A good indication of where to start when it comes to learning on time signatures would be this motion. So a simple way of learning figuring out what the feel of this would be is to just nod your head where it feels right and count the down hits, or the down strokes, basically, that your neck, all the neck work that you're doing here. And just count that. I mean, it's not, this part specifically is not too crazy. Let's learn it real quick. I'm blowing it. I gotta analyze my right hand a little bit. Picking wise. Alright, so because we're in an odd grouping, and we're doing 10 eighth notes per bar, then we're probably going to switch back and forth between inside and outside picking, because we're doing 10 notes, which is an even number, but we're doing 1 note per string for a lot of it, alternate picked. That kind of is the best way to look at it, until we switch and we do a 2 notes on a low string. So it could be something like this: down, whoops, down, up, 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 down, up. It's a weird riff. I think I might have made it look a little bit easier than it actually is. I'm not thinking about it when I'm playing it, and that's making it a little bit easier for me. Sometimes taking yourself out of something is going to make it easier for you. Okay, well, all in all, beside the solo, I'm not going to get into solo. If I do the solo, it'll be a different video because it's going to take me quite a while. It's a pretty long solo, and Dave's solos are really crazy. But hey, so are Dan's. Dan's the other guitar player of this band, and he is very awesome. Very, very awesome. I mean, every single person in this band is great. So I'm looking forward to hanging out and seeing them in a couple days. If you haven't checked out this band or this album, please download it or like legally like buy it, like support the dudes. That would be great. And if you're in Europe, if you're living in Europe or traveling abroad or whatever, and you're going to be there for one of the shows, I will see you then, and I'll hopefully see you before then in another video. Thanks so much. See you next time.